In this Wuchang Fallen Feathers boss guide, we are taking down Blightweaver the Great Centipede. This grotesque insectoid boss may look overwhelming at first, but here's the truth. You can absolutely shred through its health if you exploit its biggest weakness, poise damage. I'll show you how to chunk its health in half in seconds and how to use the arena's environment to your advantage. That's the key to turning this chaotic fight into a clean takedown. We'll break down every move Blightweaver uses and exactly how to punish them, so you always know when to strike. Or if you just want the fastest way to win, skip ahead to the strategy and pro tips section to see how it's done. And if this guide helps, drop a like, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe for more boss guides and tips. Right as you enter the arena, Blightweaver makes an aggressive entrance. It immediately rushes towards you and comes to a stop. This is a scripted opener and it almost always follows with the same move. It raises both of its sharp mantis-like forelimbs and stabs them straight down into the ground in front of it. This double hand pincer thrust is telegraphed with a clear wind-up as the boss pulls back slightly before the lunge. It's not especially fast, so your best option is to wait for the pullback. It'll start closing the gap, and the moment you see its limb start moving downward, dodge to either side or toward the boss just before the stab lands. If you time it right, you'll not only avoid the hit, but you'll also be in perfect position for a couple of clean counterattacks during its brief recovery window. Now let's break down all the follow-up attacks Blightweaver uses with those same slasher limbs, because they come in fast, often in chains, and are deceptively varied. If you're standing close after dodging the opener, or if you try to get greedy with early hits, Blightweaver often follows up with this two-hit combo. First, it raises its right slasher limb high and slams it right down in a ground thrust. Then almost immediately it follows with a quick uppercut using both limbs at once, a move that can easily catch you mid-swing or while dodging away. The good news is both attacks are telegraphed. The right limb lift gives you a second or two of warning. As soon as you see that vertical pull up, back away or get ready to dodge right as the limb comes down. Then as it begins raising both arms for the uppercut, wait for the motion to fully start and dodge to the side just before the arms rise. This timing keeps you safe from the fast follow-up. It's tempting to keep hacking and slashing through this, especially if you are building Skyborn might. But this is one of those moments where patience pays off. This is one of Blightweaver's nastiest surprises, fast, aggressive and easy to miss if you're too focused on landing hits. It starts with a dual limb thrust where it slams both of its slasher arms straight into the ground, but right after that it pulls off a sudden body dash, always sliding to its right, trying to bulldoze you or cut off your escape route. The trick here is watching for the tail cue. Just before the dash, Blightweaver pulls its tail sharply to its left. That's your signal. As soon as you see that motion, dodge preemptively to your right, its left, and you will avoid the entire movement cleanly. This combo happens very fast after the initial stab, so if you hesitate or miss the visual cue, you'll likely get clipped. It also doesn't leave much of a punish window, so in most cases, it's smarter to play it safe and wait it out rather than chasing damage right after. This is one of Blightweaver's most overwhelming attacks and probably the hardest to dodge cleanly the first few times you encounter it. The boss begins dashing straight towards you, slamming its forelimbs into the ground one after the another, alternating in a relentless flurry. The tempo is consistent, but the speed and aggression make this combo extremely disorienting under pressure. The trick here is simple: don't panic. You don't need to dodge every single hit. If you can dodge even one of the first few stabs, you'll usually break out of the combo's path. The safest option is to dodge into the boss or slightly towards its side. As one of the limbs comes down, this will let you slip behind or beside it, safely outside the attack arc. Watch for the cue, each limb lifts briefly before thrusting down. That's your window. Time your roll just as it starts coming down. And once you're out of the rush, you can reposition and counter. This is another high-speed combo and it comes in fast. 4 hits back to back with almost no gaps. Blightweaver begins with a wide horizontal slash from its right limb, immediately follows with a left limb slash, then transition into a double arm uppercut, and finishes with a forward scissor style slash to close distance. The tempo is extremely tight and this sequence is all about rhythm and reaction. If you're confident in your dodging, you can roll through all 4 strikes consecutively, but it demands sharp timing and complete focus. The key cue here is the limb pullback. Each attack begins with a visible wind up as the limb moves outward and over it. As soon as you see the motion starting, commit to 4 well-timed dodges and you can cleanly avoid the entire combo. If you're not comfortable committing to the full dodge chain, the safer option is to dodge away after the second hit, avoiding the more dangerous uppercuts and scissor finisher. The final slash has some forward momentum, so dodging to the side or diagonally towards Blightweaver's flank is ideal. This not only avoids damage but also puts you in a prime spot to land a counterattack once the sequence ends. This next move is a powerful body dash and it's as dramatic as it is dangerous. Blightweaver grabs its own tail with its jaw, curling into a coiled stance like it's building momentum, and that's exactly what it's doing. After a few seconds of winding up, it launches forward in a spiraling dash, aiming to knock you down or reposition itself with force. The good news is this move has one of the clearest visual clues in the entire fight. When you see it grab its tail, that's your warning. You've got a couple of seconds before it lets go. Just enough time to prepare a clean dodge or back off entirely. As soon as it releases the tail and starts spinning towards you, dodge roll immediately. A single well-timed dodge to the side or toward the flank will get you completely out of harm's way. There are a couple of reactive punish attacks Blightweaver uses based on your positioning. These aren't as frequent as the main combos, but they can easily throw you off rhythm if you're not ready for them. Tail sweep. This one's simple but nasty. Blightweaver lets out a sharp screech, raises its tail high into the air, then performs a slow, wide double sweep, mainly targeting the area behind it. There is no clear windup beyond the screech, and the slower speed can actually make it harder to time your response. If you're positioned near its back, your best move is to back off or stab to the sides as soon as you see the tail begin to rise. The sweeps cover a wide arc and will knock you down or interrupt your combo if you stay too close. Side Storm. This attack is much rarer and seems to trigger only when you linger near its flanks, especially on the left side. Blightweaver raises all of its limb, holds briefly, then slams one side down in a crushing storm. The animation isn't lightning fast, but the weight of the attack is clear and the storm will hit hard if you mistime your reaction. Thankfully, there's a short delay after the lift, which gives you just enough time to dodge backward and get out of the way. At certain points in the fight, Blightweaver will pause briefly and release a dark, thick cloud of corruptive smoke from its body. This lingering smoke lasts for a few seconds and will quickly build up your corruption meter if you remain within its range. The good news, there's no damage on release, just a status buildup. So simply backing away from the area is enough to stay safe. The effect radius isn't huge, but staying in it too long can push you towards a corruption trigger, which can drastically reduce your survivability. But the real danger comes after the cloud disperses. The moment Blightweaver finishes expelling the mist, it will almost always follow up immediately with another attack, typically one of the combos we have covered. Since most players instinctively back away from the cloud, Blightweaver often uses its jump slam attack to close the gap right after, catching you as you re-engage. That said, it's not always the jump, sometimes it will pivot into other combos as well. So watch closely as the cloud fades, don't rush in too quickly. This next move is more about positioning control than raw damage, but if you're not ready for it, it sets you up for some of Blightweaver's nastiest follow-ups. Blightweaver lets out a sharp screech while inhaling, creating a vortex effect that pulls you towards him. The pull is immediate and lasts a couple of seconds. If you're within mid-range, it will start dragging you toward the boss or score. Thankfully, it's easy to avoid. A quick sprint or backward dodge will break the pull and keep you out of its danger zone. But what makes this move dangerous is what comes right after. Almost every time Blightweaver finishes the pull, it transitions into immediate follow-up attack. It can be any of the ones we have already covered, but the most common is the cross slash, and that can hit hard if you're dragged in too close. So the moment you hear the screech and see the inhale animation begin, back out immediately. Now this brings us to the Blightweaver's final and longest combo, a devastating two-phase attack that begins with a deceptive setup. It starts with Blightweaver standing still and conjuring a glowing magical circle above its head. This triggers 6 consecutive magical beams that slightly track your movement and fire off in sequence, and trust me, they hit hard. The good news, they're actually easy to avoid. Just sprint in a wide circular motion around the boss to evade all 6. But things change once its health bar drops below 50%. At this point, Blightweaver may leap into the fray mid-combo, jumping toward you while the magic beams are still firing. This sudden aggression makes the sequence much trickier, so you'll need to watch for a jump slam or any of the other follow-up attacks we've already covered. Once that phase ends, the centipede-like beast begins scraping its limbs together, almost like sharpening blades. Then burrows underground and starts tracking you from below. It erupts from the ground 4 times in a row, trailing flames and delivering heavy knockback each time. These eruptions track your movement, so you'll need to stay alert. Fortunately, this phase is also easy to escape. Just sprint continuously and change direction often. But here's a tip. This is the perfect moment to build up 4 full stacks of Skyborn might. Dodge as soon as you see the ground begin to glow with flames, and time each roll carefully. Once the chain ends, you'll have a perfect window to punish the beast with everything you've got. Now that you know all the combos to watch out for, let's talk strategy. Because with the right setup, you can actually take this boss down very quickly. There are 2 key tactics that make a huge difference here. You'll notice several stone pillars scattered throughout the boss arena. These aren't just for decoration. They are your best weapon. If you bait Blightweaver into attacking a pillar, it will stagger and collapse for several seconds. That gives you a massive punish window to chunk its health down significantly. Blightweaver is extremely weak to poise damage, so bring a weapon with high poise damage. If you have the Vermilion War Club, its weapon skill Misty Breath is amazing. It deals heavy damage over time and can seriously melt the boss if you chain it right. Around this point in the game, you can also unlock the Bone Needle Poise Break skill from the skill tree. It further amplifies your poise damage, making poise break setups even more effective. Make sure to equip high corruption resistant armor if you have it, and carry a few purple camellia flowers to cleanse corruption buildup when needed. Equip a poise damage weapon as your main, like the War Club, or use the Lashing Whip double-handed sword, which synergizes well with the Bone Needle. Using a double-handed sword helps build Skyborn Might quickly, since the second hit grants a Skyborn stack. Then unleash Misty Breath during each punish window for devastating results. Also carry a plum branch. It gives you 4 stacks of Skyborn Might instantly. Use it alongside the Bone Needle before entering the arena. Then immediately sprint toward the first pillar on the left. Bait Blightweaver into smashing it and you'll get your first stagger. With 4 stacks ready, you can unleash up to 4 Misty Breaths back to back. And in most cases, that alone can reduce the boss's health by nearly half. From there, just build a few more stacks of Skyborn Might, either using your sword or shimmers, and keep unleashing Misty Breath to finish the fight. It's efficient, reliable, and honestly a lot of fun. Now let's take all that and put it into action. Here's the full boss fight against Blightweaver Great Centipede.
I beseech you, deliver me from this fate! Misty!